Welcome back, my fellow duplicants, to Oxygen Not Included. Today, I'm going to go ahead and automate my cooking production here. So I received a good many messages about how many refrigerators I have over in here and what it would take to possibly automate this. So I think that's going to be a really cool topic. So I have two main goals. One is to automatically determine how much food I have of a certain recipe right here, and then enable or disable a gas range or the electric grill or whatever else I want to do as needed right there. So Merc, rather than having one nice location, will have many nice locations where he can do all of his cooking. But he isn't stuck in this infinite loop here making millions and millions of calories, right? Now the other thing here is that most of this is just ingredients, right? Sleet wheat grain, you can see I just have tons of it right there. Now it would be nice to have a system like this in order to drop it into a location, but to do that I'll need to use some sort of auto sweeper and some automation right there in order to drop things into a location and retrieve them using machines rather than duplicants to break the loop that they would normally try to sweep things up over and over again, because I don't want to leave ingredients laying throughout my base. So that's the focus of today's video. However, there's other things that have been going on here in the developer build. I haven't even been able to play the game for a couple days because it just kept crashing. The first one being is that the last video I made of water weeds right here, well, guess what? They require bleach stone, which is 500 grams per cycle now, and salt water as their irrigation. Yeah. So, nope. Goodbye. We're going to find another way to make that happen. Now remember, this is just a developer build. They're trying things out, seeing where things end up, and they'll rebalance as need be. But we went from having this being really, really easy to requiring a fair bit of bleach stone, which is kind of hard to make, and salt water, which I have no idea. How do I make more salt water if I need to irrigate my water weeds? What machine outputs salt water? I mean, the desalinator doesn't do that. It requires salt water or brine, and then it outputs water and salt. So yeah, I kind of doubt that the water weed is all that balanced right now, because it should be able to just take water, it seems like, unless we have a way of actually making salt water, which I haven't figured out yet. The other one that they're trying out here, which is absolutely game-changing, is the machines like the water sieve here that have a set output temperature now only heat water up, but don't cool it back down. So you can see that the output temperature of this water is 70 degrees. Oh, the heat flusher has been completely destroyed. Water sieve, you and I, we used to have a great relationship, but now you gotta do me like this. Look at this, what are you doing? What are you doing? Now, just to kind of reiterate, this is something that they're trying, not necessarily something that is guaranteed to happen. In my personal opinion, the temperature of the water that goes in should just be the temperature of the water that comes out. Keep things simple, you know? I watched one of their live streams about, and they were talking about equipment like this, not just the water sieve. It was all meant to kind of create yet another problem for you to fix. So you solve one problem, but you create another problem that kind of progresses the game to increase its challenge over time. I don't know, there's so many different worlds now. They're playing around with that sort of dynamic. But we will have to just see. The other thing I have to work around today here is that there's a known issue with the pipes and how they're flowing, so a lot of my bathrooms are not actually able to run liquid through them. So hopefully that problem will only last today, and they'll just be able to kind of patch that up. But for right now, I'm just going to build a couple outhouses and some wash basins down here just to get through the next couple cycles. Okay, one thing I can do here to take care of my cooling loop is, rather than using something like the water sieve down here, I can use the ice machine, or the puddle machine, essentially. So this guy will, I'm already keeping this body of water nice and cool. I have a little bit too much water down there right now. But essentially what I'm going to do is just make this bigger and then run the cooling loop for my base through that, so that's where the cooling will happen. Yeah. Managing a massive 14 frames today. Oh no, everybody's making a mess. I spent too long talking and not enough time building. Okay, so I was able to get one of these seeds down here for the trees, and it should self-plant here pretty soon. And then we'll have a couple more pips that we can put in there. And you can see that the pips got an update to the art, so hey, look at that. They are green. Oz, you're on the wrong side of the wall. Figure it out. There you go. There you go. Good job, dupe. Watch these guys like a hawk. All right, so here we go. You know where the bathroom is. We have many of them down there now. All right, Merc. Hey man, just give it a break. You'll be all right. Okay, so here's what I have going on. I have several gas ranges up top here, and I'm just going to use an auto sweeper to kind of load up a conveyor, and then I'll store the food down here below, And I'm going to try to make a system that's 3 wide so that I can just build this thing vertically. That way I have oxygen up top, and then I either have chlorine or carbon dioxide below, both of which are okay. And I want to make sure that I have room for a carbon skimmer over here, even though it doesn't have a set output temperature anymore. All right, so I'll get rid of the equipment up here and whatnot. That'll be fine. All right, so below that, what I want to do is have sort of an auto sweeper with 2 storage bins right here. Now, from the looks of it, the refrigerator down here does have an automation signal on the out. So it's very much like a smart storage bin, or basically it is a smart storage bin just for food. So I can reuse this exact same automation logic right here to control the food and whether or not I have enough in my inventory so that I don't have to keep making more and more of it. But the real trick here is, can I make it 3 wide? So we've got 1 refrigerator, 2 refrigerator, and then we're going to ship it in. So then we'll have the receptacle. Aha. But what about all that automation? Oh, and you need the power thingy too. Okay. Ooh, see, that's where things get difficult, because the sweeper arm, but the filter is only used with the memory toggle switch. Aha. And that's what controls the gas ring. Give me a moment. Thinking. All right, you see that? Yes, I think that's everything I need. What is going on? Okay, so it is actually no different than the other one. It just looks absolutely crazy. How do I get this signal here each and every time? More thinking. Delete and try again. Here we go. Cancel, cancel. Ha! We moved that. There we go. Now the automation signal from the clock, boom, goes right there. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Oh, hey, that's actually a little bit easier. Boom. The filter gate can just go here. I understand that this probably doesn't make sense to most. Okay, I understand this looks like absolute madness. But I can guarantee there's logic involved. I can't guarantee that it makes sense. You know what? You know what? I suppose I don't actually need to have a receptacle and another arm sweeping from up here down there. Because what I can do is I can just use a door. I'll open it up just below the gas range here. It'll just drop the stuff through onto the refrigerators, and then the auto sweeper will do its thing. Oh, but then the automation signal then runs the clock. It's gonna run through the doors. So it drops right there, right there. So if I put the door here into the left, okay, then I might be able to offset that door. So if I put the door like that, then what's the automation signal look like? Okay, good, good, good. And then we do that number. That means we run the filter gate right up here like this. Aha, aha. Now I've got a pattern that works. Less words, we'll find out. All right, dupes, get to work. Oh, look at this beautiful machine come together. Yeah, all right. Oh, wait a minute, crap. How am I going to get the automation signal to that door? Okay, so here's the other thing. I'm pretty sure this mechanized airlock doesn't allow stuff to drop through vertically. Horizontally might have been a different situation. Let's just store whatever. Drop some stuff into it. There you go. Okay, so there's some... Dude, stop picking this stuff up. All right. All right, so if we set this to open now, I don't think this stuff will fall through. Let's find out. I don't remember. Because if I can, then I'll just do the doors vertically right here, and that'll be solved. Dupes, anybody want to switch this? Any dupe. Any dupe. One dupe, please. Okay, it's open. Oh, it does fall through. Hey! Problem solved. So then I have really no choice but to put the auto sweepers right here, which isn't really that great, but I guess it's better than nothing, right? So much automation. Oh my gosh, it's like I'm building a circuit board over here. Yes, you go here, you go there. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to tackle here today is rather than running this water back over here to the heat flusher system, because that is no longer actually flushing any heat away, I'm going to run this over here to kind of my ice bath. Now there's other ways of cooling this. I could potentially take it all the way down here to the Wheezeworts, but to me that's kind of a less predictable thing. It is cooler, but sometimes it gets quite a bit warmer in there depending on what this volcano's doing. Speaking of which, don't go in there, dupes. But we'll have to see. One other idea is that I could take that loop and run it up here to one of the steam turbines to do a heat flusher system, but one that's quite a bit hotter than what we have with the Aquatune. So I'm currently doing that with the hydrogen over here. I'm also doing that with all of the crude oil and all of the metal processing that's going on inside of there. I'm curious to see how this unit will run, because this is kind of a lower tier item rather than needing steel and all of that stuff to run through a steam turbine. So I'd like to see how this runs. Good news, by the way, the second arbor tree has decided to plant itself, so we can go ahead and wrangle these guys up and get them back into their desired location. I'll try to copy these settings up here and disable them down here. Oh, one of the other things that they're playing with here, I think, is the output temperature of the ethanol distiller. I don't think it's as cold as it used to be, so it's a good thing I didn't try to make that into our cooling loop as well. Everything is just like, you know, they've got a lot of balancing to do. Merc, why'd you make a mess, dude? I've got more than enough places for you to use the bathroom. Uh-oh, that's not good. Yep, crash. All right, unfortunately, my game keeps crashing over and over again, and I think it has to do with these pipes. So I'm not going to touch them anymore. Yeah, I'm just gonna walk away from the pipes. All right, focusing back on our food over here. What do we have? We have a boatload of automation going on, and we need more automation wires for everything. All right, so now I need power for all of this. Now, for whatever reason, these gas ranges consume 240 watts, and they still consume gas as well, because it's both an electric grill and a gas range. That all connects, that's a lot of power. So what do we got there? That's 1,500, and then all of these, those are all pretty much going to spike on. You know what? This is just under, well, it's just over a 2 kilowatt wire, so I might be able to get away with it. All right, let's not worry about power just yet. So as I cook in the gas range, we're going to have a mushroom wrap. We're going to make that. We'll make sushi, delicious. We'll make barbecue, you know it, yes. Spicy tofu, pepper bread, stuffed berries. So that pretty much covers all of it. Oh, and I missed a door. Oh, and we need automation to these doors as well. Can't get to it. Oh, but that's okay. That's okay. Because no tile left empty. Here we go. We'll put clock sensors right down here. Problem solved. Okay, so what I've done here with the clock sensors is I've gone ahead and set those to just be open here at the end of the cycle. So once the dupes are in bed and whatnot and not actually cooking, the door will open up and the debris will fall through, and that's where the auto sweepers will do their thing to sort them into the refrigerators. So each one of these refrigerators is only going to store one type of food, and that is the food that is directly above it. And just like Emily was mentioning down here in her post on my Discord channel, one way to do these refrigerators right here, rather than using kind of a safety stock system where I always load things from left to right, what I can do for this situation is actually just set one of these to a lower priority, and then the one that we have the detection set up to on a higher priority. So there will be a little bit of overrun. Maybe we only check this once per cycle, and that allows us to kind of not necessarily run the gas range all the time, but still get similar functionality to what we have with the metal refinery. So the one on the left here is going to be set to 4, where the one on the right is going to be set to just a normal 5. Okay, one change I wish they would make is just make all the options available, because when you don't have any of it in the base, it's really kind of annoying to set up things. Okay, so one thing I added over here is an electric grill. That way I can do the omelets, because I like omelets. Those are good. So then we can set omelets up right there, and then I'll also do omelets over here as well. But that one will be set to 4. So 5 and 4. Okay, so down here I'm just going to build a door like this with a couple of tiles right there. So now I'm trapping chlorine and carbon dioxide or whatever gets in there, so it cannot get out. Bam, just like that. All the doors open at the end of the night, and then boom, they close back down right when the game's trying to do its autosave. Who's making a mess this time? Mop, select all. Okay, there we go. I have outhouses all over my base, but it's still not enough. Dupes! Ah! All right, let's see if I can build this down without releasing all of this hydrogen and polluted oxygen. I don't really want all my chlorine to sink out of here. I'd rather kind of keep that sealed up if I can. So my goal is to build up tiles like this and then build down each corner. We'll see how that works. So if I build these tiles, then I can build those tiles, and then I can build the tiles down below. Well, Perfect. Caught a Draco. So I built those two, then I can get rid of those two. I can see this strategy working. And then you just deconstruct as you go back, and then you just end up with this arrangement just like that. And a Draco is slowly escaping. Oh! Yes, you've managed to make it through a wall, Draco. Congratulations. Oh, this next one, it's going to try the exact same escape routine. Okay, so now to deal with the power down here. So, if it goes through this, then I want it to run down there. That will run like this. Nope, that's not gonna work either. Great. All right, I guess I just have to hang power wires like that. Tell you what, I'll try to run all of this off of a 2 kilowatt wire. I doubt it will work. I bet it will explode, but if not all of these are running at the same time, it should be okay. Yes, this does continue to work. And yet another Draco has escaped. Nothing can get past a Draco. What? You're gonna try to escape too? All right, there we go. That's an even better strategy. So all I do is now just deconstruct as needed. And every time I see there's like an open, look at all these Dracos. They can smell the construction over here. All 4 of them. There we go. And then once one clears up, we just get rid of that tile and voila. Hey, Stinky, you need to remember to build ladders. Otherwise you can't get out. This is easily one of the weirdest building projects I've ever undertaken. But, hey, it's working. Okay, so the next thing I need to solve here is a way to move all of the ingredients, a bit like what we're doing right here, but do it automatically rather than using the sweep only command. So to do that, I need to bring this to a spot where it is, it's going to be deep enough to where the duplicates cannot reach into it. So I think one of the ways I can achieve that is to just use a conveyor loader, right? And then use a dropper right down here. And that will drop the ingredients into a spot where the dupes, they can't reach down there. Let's see if they will entomb themselves or not. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Seems like we're going to be okay. So then what I can do over here is I can say cooking ingredients. Aha! Everything will automatically be loaded in here. You can just do a manual use. And then for shipping, I'll just bring it in. Now I can really locate that wherever I think it would be nice and convenient. So that could be right down here in the farms and whatnot, and we could just ship it all the way over there. For right now, that's just where I'm going to put it. So you know what? I think I'm actually going to change this a little bit, and I'll put the dropper right down here. And the reason I'm thinking about doing that is because I'll do the auto sweeper right down here. This gives me a lot of opportunities to use loaders so that I can deliver it to what I want. So how many different ingredients am I cooking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my gosh. So that is potentially 8 on the way out. I think one of the other things I might want to do though is load automatically and then ship over to one refrigerator that would be over here that would have what I want inside of it. Or maybe just like a little bit of everything. That way the dupes don't have to run over here, then to run back over there. And make that run every day just to get their food. I wonder what kind of vision this thing has. So when these doors are open, can it not only load up something to ship out, but can also load the gas range? I wonder what would happen. Let's take a look here. So you can see the dupes, they come down here and they pick this up and then they go over here and sweep it up a bunch of times. So I'll actually set that to a low priority. But we'll sweep that up. And then it gets shipped and drops right inside of here. What I'd like to sweep is not all these ingredients, but actually get rid of like the iron ore and whatnot. That's all down there. Oh my gosh, look at all of this. What? All right, so if I want to ship the food that's coming out of here automatically into different bins down here, what I could do is send an automation signal from one of these back over here to the loader so that I can kind of shuffle what food is in it. Hopefully not too much food goes bad between here and there. Ideally, we don't do much. Not sure I want to explore too much of this right now because I'm not exactly sure how it's all going to work out, but that's one way I can ship out. Here we go. We'll sweep all of this stuff up. At least I'm going to move all of that to one spot. I might rework this to where it kind of lines up better with the gas ranges and whatnot up here. Just so that the shipping isn't all weird and I don't take up more space than I need to. Right now I'm just trying to get all of this clear. Kind of a time-consuming thing. Because one of the other things I did off screen is I kind of dug this out so that the oxygen pressure over here was lower. That is allowing me to get more water in this area so I can keep producing hopefully I'll keep producing more oxygen. Okay, it definitely took a while, but I got all the way down here. I've managed to capture every single Draco, just about every single Draco in this biome. They're just running all over my base at this point. Not that that was my goal, but apparently that's an interesting strategy of how to move Dracos through walls. So now I just build like this, and then build one more over here, and build there, and then we build that one, and then we build that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. And then I'll deconstruct this horrible mess of ladders. Look at all of this. You know what? I'm not sure if there's a mod for it, but automatically deconstructing just ladders, I would be for that mod, because going back and deleting this with the dupes is painful. You know what I mean. It sucks. Mantis! You have an outhouse right up here. What's your problem? Why do you gotta go do that? These dupes. Man, they are just peeing all over the place these days. You like my new base cooling solution? I just put a bunch of temperature shift plates here. It's actually working, so. Hey, look at all the happy little pips down here. Look at that. How about we sweep that, please, before it goes bad? Oh, I think they added a new sound for the pipsqueak. Maybe that was always there, but I'm noticing that. Okay, so I have a way to ship out, not a way to ship the ingredients in to the gate. So I think what I want to do is, I want to move this. This doesn't need to be all the way down here. That's way too far. The other thing is I'm going to have to pump some of this chlorine back up here and maybe do something different down here. Because as I've dug out the rest of this, the chlorine has settled down a little bit. Oh, you know what I could do? I could store some bleach stone, consumable or bleach stone. Oh, and you know what? Since we are unable to run the bathrooms as intended, I could do this number. I could actually replace those with the little bleach stone face licker things. All right, let's see if the hand sanitizer here still gives off all of its chlorine. If it does, then then I may not want to use it anymore. But this thing is, oh no. Oh no. Let's hope this doesn't break my game. What? This is not going up in power? Elderly, why are you not generating power? But the ones above it are generating power? What? Oh. Oh, that's what happened. Ah, crap. I unintentionally did something bad. So what I did is I stored shine nymph eggs over here. And my dupes decided to grab them and put them back over here. Okay, sweep only and allow manual use. There we go. So now I'll ship all of those back over here. There goes a whole bunch of eggs. Yum. Oh my gosh, look at all the eggs. Oh, wow. It just keeps going. We'll get that back up and running at full power. I don't think it'll take too long. I'm like barely able to produce oxygen. Sometimes it's a power issue, but also the way liquid is flowing right now with the current build of the game. I'm pretty sure I can only run like this left electrolyzer right now. I kind of wonder what the oxygen's. Oh, I've got boatloads of oxygen still. Okay, good deal. All right, so let me just plan this out in a way that will make sense from a visual perspective here. So if I just do that many loaders, I don't necessarily need that many loaders because I can reach like 3 locations with just the auto sweepers, but I don't know, I'm kind of digging the symmetry right now. Yeah, that looks cool. So then I could do 1, 2, 3, bam, just like that. Ooh, that's cool looking. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's way better, visually at least. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then I'll make that just like that. Boom. Cool. All right, dupes. There is your mission. Probably need power for a lot of this stuff. The amount of metal, like, in this build is tremendous. There's a ton of metal. Dupes, you didn't get that done? I gave you an entire cycle. Oh, wait a minute. Here's what you do. You put the loaders, even though it doesn't really make sense to put them right up here, except for the fact that they look cool. I need to dig up more ore to feed my sensational desire for metal, just so that I can build this down here. Next map I roll, I'm definitely going to go with metal rich. Because if there's one thing that I seem to use a lot of in my game, it's a lot of metal ore. Just loads and loads of it. Then again, there should be more metal up here once I ever get up there. All right, so just a little bit more work to do over here. Merc has some high standards down here. If we take a look at the decor, yes, it's fantastic. My goodness, it's awesome down here. But as you can see, the decor right here is actually pretty pathetic, minus 58. I'm afraid Merc will just reject me and not make any food. Now, we have addressed the storage bin down here. Not that anybody's going to be down here, but this is the bin of bubbles. Clearly, that has absolutely no functional purpose, but I just decided to put it there. And then we'll deconstruct the rest of these ladder spots because I can. Haha. And just a little bit more. Just say store all. Will you do what you want? There we go. Haha. Take that, game. Now where's that supposed to ship to? Oh, it's supposed to ship. Hey. Dupes, you forgot a spot. Look at all my ore. It's just gone. Some people spend all of their ore trying to build a monument. No, I spend all of my ore on a automated system for cooking food. Not that that's even needed, but yo, it's fancy. The only thing that would make this more fancy, even though it has absolutely no purpose at all, is if we put some drywall down. Let me just do a little sample here, just to see how it looks. Sometimes it makes the gases show up a little bit neater than they would otherwise look. They don't do anything for you if they're not covering up space. So, hey, look, we got food by the food. Good job, Super Meat, for being inspired. Dupes, you haven't finished all this work. I made you super. You have skills of 9,000 and you're still not done? I've had to resort to using oxygen fusers. All the bridges in my base are broke. Water's barely flowing. Like the water won't flow past here to the rest of that. Oh well. Hopefully the patch comes out tomorrow and that fixes some things. I don't really like the look of drywall. Okay, so now how's the decor up here? Gosh, it's still bad. Well, I thought I was going to be able to get by with plastic tiles, but no, we're gonna have to take it up a notch. Bro, let's cook on diamond floors. Yeah. Can you just feel the wealth squeaking beneath your feet? All right, so here we go. Moment of truth. We are actually sweeping all of the ingredients and everything. And that'll be right into this location right down here. No, not everything. No. Uh-oh. Not edible or not a cooking ingredient. There we go. So yes, right down here we have loads of pinch of pepper, all of that stuff. All right, let's see if I can get this stuff out of there. So I've got a conveyor receptacle right there. I'll put sandstone and whatnot in there. Not allow it to be manual use. I think that auto sweeper can go ahead and do it for me. If I take the priority and I set this stuff low enough, well, that is just all. There we go. Haha. No dupes. Don't fill it up. Oh, I do have one more issue. This is not connected. I was one short. Aha, there's the rest of the ingredients. What do you think about that, Bubbles? I didn't know Bubbles was rocking a unibrow. Okay, so if I disable sweep only, the dupe should now run around and pick up sleet wheat grain and whatnot throughout the base, and we should see that it ships right down to this location over here. And yeah, that's exactly what we could see. So we're seeing lots and lots of omelets and everything. Haha! How's the decor in this area? I think the diamond lies to me. I read it, but it isn't good enough. We need gold. So what I need is gold amalgam, because I don't have enough. Metal. Oh my gosh, look at how much metal I have built. Okay, let's see if I could find another deposit of gold amalgam for a decor of plus 3,540. They are not as balanced as they used to be. All right, Victor, keep running that machine. I need that gold. Man, could you imagine trying to build this without automating all of this refined metal stuff? It'd be driving me nuts. Like the amount of plastic and everything I've thrown over there. Okay, so one thing I could do is I could actually switch one of these gas ranges to like another electric grill if I just wanted to do fried mushrooms or something like that, or frost buns. Those are actually pretty good ingredients. But, you know, that is what it is right now. I guess the one last thing I need, in case I haven't put enough stuff over here yet, well, I need a lot more natural gas. Huh? Oh no, please don't crash. No! I've been fighting this all day. Yeah, gone. Okay, so one thing that remains for me to solve here is how do I automate the loading of something like the grill or the gas range down here? And I think what I could do for that is actually take, when this is true, it'll be true for a short amount of time. And I think what I can do is actually hook that up to its own buffer gate, maybe, or just kind of run it off of this buffer gate as well, just to enable the sweeper arm to only fill this for a little while. So that way, not a ton of stuff actually ends up in there. Because what I don't want to have is a bunch of material get stored right up here, which isn't going to be in an environment where it's not going to be controlled, I should say. I would like to keep it down here in the chlorine if possible. Yeah, so from the looks of it, I'll want to use my own buffer gates here because this is set to 1, that's set to 1. And I know this looks absolutely crazy from a distance here, but it really is. All of these systems here are the exact same sort of cycle that I have for the metal refineries. So if you're curious about that, there's actually kind of a tutorial for how I did the automated inventory. It'll be in the top right. You can kind of just click on it right there. I know all of my systems because I've made several of them. They just look absolutely nuts when you look at them from the overlay, but these look a fair bit more practical compared to this monster. Holy moly. Actually, this one's a little bit different because it does deal with loading and unloading the gas ranges, so maybe I'll have to make another tutorial video on that one sometime in the future, but we have to see if it works to begin with. One of the problems I'm faced with today with just this current build is that every time I go to work with a liquid pipe or a gas pipe, the game just freezes and crashes, so I don't think I'm going to be able to actually even test this. I'll be able to test the electric grill, so let's give that a try. Okay, so the only thing left for me to do now that I know of right now, besides hooking up all the gas, is to set this whole thing up to the clock pulse over here. So all this does is send a true signal every time, at the interval I set right here, which can be anywhere between pretty much all the time and 200 seconds. So you'll see right here at the end of this will go true for a little while. And when it does that, it's going to close all of these contacts for the storage, for the refrigerators down there. And then at that point, it'll check to see if it's full. And if it's not full, then it will enable the gas range or the electric grill to run for a little while. And then after that certain time again, which is 120 seconds, it'll check it to see if it's full again. So once this is filled up here, the rest of it will kind of be stored over there as well. So it kind of runs between the two. More or less, this thing's only going to check once per cycle, I think, because I don't have a way to automatically drop it through the floor. These doors here are just going to only open once per cycle. Okay, so here we go. Boom! It just checked everything right here. None of these are full, so therefore it's going to send an active signal to the grill. So now the grill is active. All of these would be active if they had the right stuff, but they're all waiting for fuel. But the electric grill is at least active, so we can go ahead and fill that up. But now, are we shipping? That cooking ingredient is a raw egg, so I didn't have anything selected. So there we go. So it will load this up, but since it's disabled, it won't actually flow out of it. So there we go. Merc's going to go over here and he's going to run the electric grill for a little bit. So the omelet went right there. Oh, and he's manually delivering it. Oh, but if I say sweep only, then the auto arms won't do it. We'll make that a priority 1, that a priority 2. I could always just disable the access into that location. But then how do you get your food out? Well, at that point I'd need to ship this food all the way to another spot where I'm actually going to be able to pull the ingredients out. I haven't figured that one out just yet. Merc, if you need to use the bladder, there's a boatload of places to use it. Any of these. I've disabled this, so hopefully, maybe I gotta set all those to public again. There they go. Now you're using the outhouse. All right, let's see if the food will fall through the door. Okay, there goes the doors. Aha! Bam! This is currently storing a massive 4 kilograms. Maybe we set it to like 10, something kind of low. Okay, so there goes a bunch of those. Freshness, change per cycle is 0 when it's stored inside the electric grill, so maybe it isn't an issue. However, change per cycle here is actually 13% per cycle, so yeah, I don't really want them to be up there if I can avoid it. Okay, so I changed some things up here, and now I'm running a not signal to an and over here. And this just checks this whenever the clock pulse goes. So whenever that runs, It'll only be active for like 2 seconds. So what this should not do is ship more material from here up to here if this is full. So what I should see is that this thing does not ship anything out. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh, it went true for just a second. Was that enough to ship? No, it wasn't. Okay, cool. So it didn't ship anything out. I have just a bunch of raw eggs right down here. Haha! Okay, so what if I set this to 20 kilograms? The next time it runs by, it should check it, and it should ship some of those out. I'll just do this every 60 seconds. Make it a little bit. Okay, so there it checked. And now it's shipping just a little bit. Yeah, it shipped 3 of them out. Cool! 1, 2, 3. Now this thing is ready to be run, but it already has some in it from the last time, but it doesn't go bad if it's inside there apparently. Change per cycle is 0%. So Merc should come over here and cook up just a little bit of a few omelets. Oh, but it shipped a few more. Did that disable on him? No, it's still enabled. Stinky, are you hungry? Oh no, I see what you're... Okay, so the thing is, if this checks every 60 seconds, it's going to ship every 60 seconds while it's still disabled. So I think I might want to set that to 200, that way it only ships. So I can use this same sort of trick here, where I have a little bit of a clock pulse to activate and deactivate this conveyor loader so that I can ship the right sort of material out of here and into, you know, my refrigerator down here if there isn't the right type of material there. Ha! That's how I could do that. You know, one thing I might run into is that I may have too many ingredients here. I got a filet and lettuce, and a mushroom and lettuce, but I'm only delivering 1 item over here. And if I select 2 items, I could fill it up. Technically, there's room for more if I wanted to ship even more ingredients. Oh my, but do I even have the ore for that? Oh god, I've been at this for like 3.5 hours now. Maybe more, I don't know exactly. Okay, so there, it opened up at the end of the day, and now we have a whole bunch of omelets down here, but I still have a bunch of raw egg up. The only way I know how to do that is if I allow manual use, and I just kind of have them pick it out of there and put it back in there for right now. Okay, here's what I do. Rather than running a clock pulse several times a day, I'm simply just going to use a clock sensor once throughout the day, just like I'm doing with the doors. That way we can just cook that entire cycle, make as many omelets as we need, or as we can supply, I should say, and then see if we have enough to continue or not, right? We can set that to 0.05 right at the beginning of the cycle. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's see how this works. We'll go ahead and run the doors open and close. That does that number. And then right here at the very, very beginning, this is just going to be active for a short amount of time. This up to 30 kilograms. There we go. Okay, there it went active. We've determined that yes, this needs to run, but now the shipping lane is closed. The only thing that remains is that this grill needs to be worked. Okay, cool. So this already contains a lot of the raw egg that it needs. We got 2,000, 3,000 grams right there. But Leon's going to do a little bit of cooking, and that contains many kilograms of raw egg. See, that's the thing. Is that when that thing ships, man, it does ship a lot, doesn't it? I suppose if I work the priorities right, I could tell this to ship into here first, you know, using an auto sweeper. And then if that is full, then it might ship into there and just kind of things would recirculate. I suppose that would be another way to do it without using allow manual use. Although my other question here is just how much can I cook in one day? If we want to get even more fancy with this, we could do the same sort of thing that we're doing down here with the fish, right? So what we do is we put a loader behind a door so that the sweeper only will move whatever's down here into there at a certain time of the day. Using every automation trick down here just to automatically cook food. Oh man, the conveyor loader stores 1,000 kilograms and you can't adjust how much it stores. Ooh, that's kind of rough. I guess rather than shipping out, my alternative would just be bring the dupes in here. Okay, so another option that I could do, rather than trying to conveyor load and ship it over there, all of that fancy stuff, what I can do is just say omelet, See, this is a priority 2, that's a priority of 1. If I wanted to just kind of move some of this over here and just keep it nearby, well, I could just say omelet, send it to like a priority of 3. And then dupe will just kind of come over here and fill this thing up. And since the dupes only eat once per cycle, or maybe some of them eat twice or something like that, depending on what you have set up for your schedules, they should only really do a delivery once a day, which may not be that bad. Look at all of the sweeping that's going on. Okay, well, I have more than enough barbecue, which I already knew. I've got a decent amount of pepper bread. I've been trying to figure out, okay, how do I do the conveyor receptacles, because I wanted to kind of daisy chain these together, right? You got mushrooms and lettuce, and then I have the filet and lettuce. So really the filet is the only unique one there right there. So if I put lettuce in between these, then I'm set. Barbecue is just going to be meat. So I can pretty much just do the filet and the meat side by side. And then you have the pepper bread right there, which is going to be sweet wheat grain and pinch of pepper nut. And then right next to that, I got stuffed berries, which is going to be the pinch of pepper nut and the bristleberry. Which leaves me with one over here, which would be spicy tofu, but I don't have any of those beans. But you can see that the pepper nut, once again, is consistent. So there's definitely some strategy into how I want to set up the receptacles up there. Man, look at that sweep in action. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what I can see is all the dupes go over here. They grab what they want. Looks like most of them are just grabbing the omelet. Nom, 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 nom. Standard meal. Ew. Disgusting. All right. So now the question is, now that I've cleared out all of these omelets, will the dupe just come over here to kind of grab the rest of the omelets? Oh, actually, we already did move all of the omelets over there. So things are shipping around, and therefore Merc is going to make more omelets. Haha! And if the game doesn't explode with me building a new pipe, that'll be a plus. Nope! Exploded. Darn it. Alright, so I'm just going to have to call it there and wait for an update to hopefully fix the pipes. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode here of Oxygen Not Included. I definitely took my first steps here towards automating food production. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. If this looks like the channel for you, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. As always, guys, stay awesome. Peace. Brothgar out.